Hello, and welcome to the Disc Dungeon, where we put you on to musics and melodies in the deepest, darkest dungeons of your computer disk. I'm your co-host, Joe Dove, and with me as always,
Julian Valencia. And if there's one thing we love talking about, it's music. What's up, guys?
welcome back
To another episode of
the Disc Dungeon.
See,
Dun, dun, dun.
that little back and forth we just did.
That's called teamwork.
That was totally unplanned.
Nope, we didn't even have it in our notes.
And we take notes because
We take notes.
we take this very seriously.
Yeah, this is our therapeutic session of the week.
Guys, this is Disc Dungeon episode 14. Drum roll, please, for the name.
Restart.
There you go.
I was like, am I supposed to cue it or?
Do I go? Do you go? Awesome, guys. Well, again, it's always a pleasure. For anybody who is tuning in at this moment, again, thank you for being here. We can't do this without you. Joe looks at the numbers very closely, and he's been telling me how, slowly but surely the numbers have been going up. Subscribers, the amount of people who download the episodes. So that's exciting to know that there's people around the world, right? Not even.
Oh yeah, we got Russia, Australia, and France and the UK. UK is probably our boy, but still, good to see you up there.
Yeah, because I don't know anybody in Russia, so.
Yeah, I know Russia. No one. I don't know anyone. Oh, and Germany this month. That was the new one.
That was the new one. Got it.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, as always, we start off with Limpoyo, which is an acronym for "Let Me Put You On." Last week, we gave each other albums to listen to, and this week, my album was Morecheeba. The name of the band is Morecheeba, and the album name is Dive Deep. So, my thoughts.
Let's hear them well.
So right off the bat, I just want to say that the name threw me off. I was not expecting the type of music that I heard.
Yeah, you thought I was going to give you some ska, didn't you?
Yeah, or reggae, something along those lines, right? But for those of you who don't know, Morecheeba, I don't know what the direct translation is. It's probably loose, but Morecheeba means more weed, at least in Spanish. We say chiva to weed all the time. So again, I'm thinking, okay, I'm getting my blunt ready.
He's like, yeah, we're gonna.
I'm like, all right. No, you're about to listen to some, the stuff. What?
This is not weed.
I had to put it down. I was like, okay, maybe I'll save that for later. But great, guys. So overall, the album definitely had some highlights. Right at the beginning, the first song started off, and it had this song called "Enjoy the Ride." And first off, just the singer is beautiful. Her voice, the way she was singing. Her name is Manda.
Is that Manda or is that Judy?
No, that's another song.
Oh, okay.
Judy's on another song. Manda's that first song, "Enjoy the Ride." Beautiful lyrics.
Gotcha. Yeah, she is the first and the last song, I think.
Yeah, beautiful lyrics. I actually want to point that out specifically because the name of the first song is called "Enjoy the Ride," and there's two specific lines. The one is, "The day that you stop running is the day that you arrive." Very poetic, beautiful.
Yeah.
I'll talk about that in a second because that completely relates to what's going on in my life right now. And the chorus is, "Stop chasing shadows, just enjoy the ride." And I think that's that in itself is a concept that I think humans in general just have a hard time accepting. You compare yourself. If you're gonna look at the person in front of you, you're gonna chase their shadow. You're never gonna enjoy yourself because it's unattainable. You're never gonna get there. So love that. That was one of I have three main songs in this album that really captivated me. That was one of them. specifically for the lyrics and the voice. The vocals were beautiful. As you go down the line, I wrote some notes about how the style of the album is like country folk,
yeah,
with some modern twists, and every song has this like the scratching, that DJ scratching, every
yeah.
all over. Every single song has some of it sprinkled. So I mean, I don't know much about the band, but I'm interested to know, I'm interested to know what compelled them to add so much of that in their album. I don't know if it's because of the time that the album was released or because of the influences. Not too sure, but that was interesting. I mean, I wouldn't say I like it or dislike it. It was just, you just don't really hear that much anymore. If it's, I mean, maybe you hear it in kind of in rap, in hip hop music much more, but even so, not really anymore. You don't.
This is a trip hop band, so they were around in the '90s. They I don't know if they roll with the Brixton Underground or not, and that underground scene of the wave of change of music. Like there was the new wave underground, and now there's the cyberpunk movement that's kind of rolling around over there. Okay. And it's starting to gain momentum here. So I'm wondering if that's one of those things that came out of it, is that blend and meld of acid jazz, electronica, hip hop, and folk music that just made this album. It's, like I said, one of my favorite albums by them, but it's not one of their biggest. So it's very interesting. But I'll get into that later. Cool. Continue.
Well, for sure, right off the bat is a band that I'm excited to delve a little more into and find some more of their music, because I bet there's some other gems in their other albums as well.
Oh yeah.
Let's see. So, like I said, the modern elements, pop melodies though, like the melodies are catchy. You know what I mean? They're not out here telling stories about their young kidling. These are pop melodies. They're catchy phrases. The next song that it's not one of my top three, but it's one of the songs that caught my attention. It's called "Gain the World." The reason why it caught my attention is because there's an artist that I work closely with. His name is Isnate. If you want to find him, you just go on Instagram @_Isnate, or just go to Spotify, Isnate. And he has a song called,
for the gram.
He has a song called "Gain the World." And when I asked him, what does that mean? He's like, oh, it's a Bob Marley reference, where Bob Marley said, I would never gain the world and lose my soul.
Oh shit.
So as you listen,
wow, that's I had no idea about that. I've listened to this album since its actual release in 2008.
Yeah,
because one of my coworkers put me onto it, and I knew about Morecheeba early Morecheeba from the 90s, because I worked in the mall when I met Joel the first time, and probably you. But
by the way, just so people know,
Joel is the amazing man behind the camera and behind the scenes, making all the music and wonders come together with a nice EQ, blending it all and making it magic with by Audios, the group, the Magic Men, the sound that you need. I should do commercials.
Yeah, you definitely can. We'll talk more about Audios and Joel during our Behind the Beats segment. Yeah, right off the bat, I'm listening to the song, and she's saying these words, and I know exactly where they're coming from. And so it was nice. It was nice to hear that Morecheeba, even though the music is not ska, it's not reggae, you can tell that Bob Marley is one of their influences.
There's a subliminal message there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And for those of you who are wondering what that means, I mean, essentially Bob Marley was saying that he wouldn't sell his soul for all the riches in the world, essentially. You know what I mean? You could give him the world on a silver platter, but if that meant that he had to sell his soul in order to do that, he wouldn't.
Which is a total opposite of last week's Tricks of the Keys, if you remember.
Yeah.
With the blues singer that sold his soul so that he could be the best guitarist in the world, who died very young at age 27.
We're pretty good at this, because that wasn't even planned.
No, it wasn't. I just put it together. I was like, oh, wait, that connects.
I want you guys to know that was complete serendipity. So if you enjoyed that, we probably cannot recreate it.
No, I think music is serendipitous, so I think it all comes together, It's a synchronicity, you see? Oh, that's backwards. But whatever, it's synchronicity.
one way or another, Joe will always find a way to or the police.
Yes, yes, I will. The craziest band ever.
So if you're tired of hearing this, just
No.
write that in the comments.
Don't do that.
Just write it in the comments.
You
Just
make me sad.
troll him. Troll him, please. All right, let's see. I also wrote that they remind me of a band called Everlast. They similar vibes because Everlast uses folk, they use country, and they use rap elements as well, which pulls me into my next point is that they're very eclectic. So in that album, there was a French singer who sang a very guitar centered folk type of song, and then you have a good 2-3 songs on there where it's just straight bars.
Rap, total rap by a Korean rapper,
which again, awesome. And then you have the folk, you have the country, you have some hip hop elements in there, but it's definitely on the rocker side, not on the urban side. Let's see, another song that stood out to me was Blue Chair. Just
my favorite song off that album.
Just the melody, man. The melody that they chose to start off the song with. I'm not going to sing it because I want you guys to go out and listen to Blue Chair by Morecheeba. But that's a melody that stays stuck in your head. That's a melody. And that's when I listen to music, if I'm going to listen to a song, I want the song to leave me with something. And sometimes the lyrics don't do it, but if the melody is on point, you get this. You get a 10 out of 10 from me.
Woo! Look at that. Word.
Let me see. Other thing I noted is that they love their outros. They love their outros. They do. Almost every song had a very interesting outro that kind of took you somewhere else or let you go softly. And that's important for me in music, especially just because, you can have an overall arcing theme, but intros and outros are such a good place in music just to throw a little curveball in there, and they achieve that very well. Let's see. Okay, so I have 2 more notes. I'm going to say first that the album started off strong with that first song, that Enjoy the Ride. The middle of the album was great. Like, it was captivating. I was going different places. my opinion, obviously, I was enjoying the album at that point. But after the song One Love Karma, after the song Blue Chair, which was the one I was just mentioning, it started to fade a little for me. They obviously took a different route. They started to slow down the music a bit, which is
they took a big slow after that because it's a different singer. That guy, I think it's Thad or something like that. He's good, but like it really mellowed out. It's like the high is off.
and honestly, that's not a problem for me. But it lost me. You know what I mean? I think maybe my critique at that point would be maybe structure the songs a little differently so that the interest doesn't die out. But that's just my opinion. Somebody may have listened to those last 4 or 5 songs and said, those are the best songs in the album. That's why music is so great, because it's, my opinion really doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So the last comment I want to make is that there's the 3 songs that stood out to me were the song number 1, which was Enjoy the Ride, One Love Karma, which was a full-on rap song, and Blue Chair. Those were the 3 songs that really impacted me. And I would have to say that we have a rating system, and we have 3 categories. Vocals, 10 out of 10, 100%. I love that there were different vocalists. I love when albums feature different artists. They were well balanced, good voices. The production, again, 10 out of 10. That was, even the little elements. There was a cat purring in Blue Chair. The
scratching.
Exactly. All the
descriptions of the textures. Yeah, like let me wrap my velvet arms around you.
Exactly.
And surround you. It's like, let me give you that comfort. And like I said, this is a big album that really connected me to my godfather, because when my grandmother passed, he was there and I would always sit in his chair and he lived across the street from me. So I would always go to his house and I would sit in his seats and everything. And before he had too many dogs. And when I was even younger, I used to do that because my great grandmother passed or one of my other relatives passed, instead of dragging me to all these funerals, they would just, have Bob watch me. And, I'm grateful for that. And he had a velvet chair at one point that I just would dive deep into and feel safe and warm.
Dive deep.
Yeah.
And the last category is preference. Obviously, this is an opinionated show. And like I said, the last 4 or 5 songs lost me. So prior to that, I would have probably given it between a 9 and a 10. So I'm going to give it an 8 for preference. Same rating I did last time. 10, 10.
Yeah, I think so. 10, 10, 8. Yeah.
10, 10, 8. Yeah. So yeah, I give the floor to you, Joe. What did I put you on last week?
Man, you put me on to a total bop. And I got to say, here's some unknown things about Joe Dove here. And I'm going off the cuff. I'm not even going to read my notes on this one. I love a band called Los Lobos. Los Lobos kick your ass. Los Lobos kick your face. Los Lobos kick your balls out your face. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but
No.
Los Lobos was a badass Spanglish rap band that I grew up listening to with my mom, my uncle. We got put onto them by a movie in the early 90s. I can't remember the name of the movie right now, and we've been listening to them ever since. So this actually fits into my preference. So the minute I heard the intro song, Dance, where is it? I have to read my notes now. Dance and Denso, which turns out to me, dance and beat each other up or fuck. So I love this album. It reminded me of the good times listening to Los Lobos. And there's a really little correlation between Morecheeba and this band. They're both 90s bands. Did you know that? Well, you probably knew about that from Moloktov, but Moloktov, who you put me on to, is a total
I know that, but I just didn't make the synapses
connection. Yeah. So, this episode is called Restart. And Restart is especially in our lives journey that goes through these massive downs of this virus that seems to lock everybody home and ripple its way into our pockets now. There's so many people that lost their jobs. There's so many people that are dealing with stress emotionally, physically, because there's a lot of spousal abuse. A buddy of mine's a cop, and he's telling me one of the houses that I was going to look at today, because I'm thinking about returning home, and I'll get into that another time. But one of the houses I was going to look at, he's like, yo, don't move there. I get so many domestic disputes off that block. It's terrible. Don't live there. So these are a lot of things you got to take into consideration when you're, dealing with your life. And Restart is a way of, everything is going to come back together, and we're going to get there together by making the right strides. And as we are locked in these rooms, apartments, and homes, we find one thing that continues to lift life's loving level, locking our minds and focus on that next adventure. As we strive to rise above the fray and experience joy, pairing in a success of our constant grind, we go again dark into the deep depths of the dark disc dungeon. I don't say it as well as I say it in the beginning, but nevertheless, the fray of music always takes us there to the right space in our minds. This epic band that you put me on to, Molotov. Yeah, thank you. I spent a lot of time writing that.
That was beautiful.
They're a badass band, man. This, like I said, reminded me of Morecheeba, because the band kept evolving. The members changed, and the members themselves that are in the band also change instruments when they go on live tour, and even in their songs, which I didn't know bands did that. So one guy's on drums, all right, let me play the bass, and they switch out, and that's freaking cool. Yeah, you have a whole band of Princes. Let's just think of it that way. Prince played 19 or 20 instruments. He could pop on the piano, play the bass, play the drums, play whatever. He was amazing. Violin too. Like he was a master of all instruments you could think of. He probably could blow out the oboe in the middle of one of the songs. And these guys, I think, are on that level because they can all just switch it in and out. Total bops on this were Here We Come, K-U-M, Noko, I Am the One, and of course, the badass intro from this album, Dance and Denso. This really put me on a pedestal for music, because I actually ended up going into their other albums because I wanted to learn more about the band, because, it's been a while since I heard somebody like Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you win this week, my friend. It's been a while since I've heard. It's been a while since I've heard a band like Los Lobos. They're totally a favorite of mine.
Mm.
Somebody I used to know put me on the Maná, and I was thinking, oh, maybe they like Los Lobos, and no, they were not. But not even close.
They probably hate Maná, to be honest with you.
They beat Maná's ass.
The anti-Maná.
Anti-Maná. So what I loved about this is they had the instruments. When you have a band that rocks instruments, you know that they can go and just the three of them, just one bass guitar, one drummer, and one vocalist can just get together and just make beautiful music. You know you got something magical there. And that's what I loved about this band, the raw sound of just instrumental music thrown at you. And the fact that they throw the Spanglish going on. It's like, oh, I don't know what's going on, but I like it because it sounds cool. Oh, I know that. That's English, you know. So
Yeah.
having the ability to go back and forth with them on that was also fun. So like, here we come, KUM. Here we come, and we don't care mucho. It's like, if you know what they just want your tapa kula wana mana. So I don't know what that last part means, but it such reminded me of that phrase that Los Lobos has. It was like, this probably means they're going to fuck you up or something in that realm, because this band was hard. This band kept it going, and, you know, this connected with me. So you're going to get your first triple 10-10-10. The production value on this, how they kept it together, the throws, their ability, because I dug deep into the band themselves, their abilities to switch instruments during performances, the fact that they were on some of the greatest music tracks of some of the greatest TV shows like Breaking Bad, and they play with ZZ Top, and they covered Queen, and they just go all over the place. And I can't believe I never heard of them, especially since, you know, I really dug Los Lobos at the time. So total bot. Yeah, you got a total 10.
That's like the first 10 on the show, by the way.
Yeah, this is. Because it matches.
We're going to insert some like claps and some audio.
Yeah. Because, you know, when you do the breakdown, the vocals, I love the different singers' voices, because it's raw and pure, and I like that. The production value is amazing. So it's like, it hits me in the right areas, knowing that these guys are trained master artists, because the sound and what they produce in the end of it is just so good. And to the preference, it matched my love of another band from the 90s. So it worked out totally.
And I did not know that.
Yeah. Yeah. So I just wanted to get into, you know, like I said, they were an 80s band that came from Mexico City that started out in the 90s and then just kept growing as a band. And I correlate that with Morecheeba, because they started out as a trio with another singer named Sky, and she left, and then they jumped and did this album that I put you on to last week, where they introduced like a plethora of various artists. And Dive Deep might not have been UK's most well-received album like your album was, because they actually, Moloktov won an Emmy for that album, for that song. So I don't know if you even knew that they even had such high praise that they have some gold hanging up on their wall at home. But
when I used to listen to, like, so I don't listen to them a lot now, but when I used to listen to them, especially in Hispanic culture, they were up there.
Top-notch. Yeah.
Top-notch.
I could see why. They're fantastic. But
I mean, and you know how Central America and South America love their rock.
Yeah.
Rock is God down there. Reggaeton is like huge now, but that's something that's probably happened in the past 10, 15 years.
Right.
Prior to that, rock ruled all.
Yeah. And this definitely was king. It was king in my book. Even though the Morecheeba album wasn't their most well received,
mm-hmm.
It's one of my favorite albums by them. Then followed up with Blood Like Lemonade. Like I was saying, Sky, she left the band, and then they grabbed these various artists and made this, to me, one of their most epic albums. And this is all opinion.
Yeah.
Because you had such a different variety of tempos. It was like I don't know if you remember in the early 2000s, there was this compilation album called Pure Moods. Do you remember that?
No.
So there was this thing called Pure Moods. It was like a TVD. Only get it on TV for the longest time. You couldn't even get it at Sam Goody. And then Sam Goody made a deal and said, all right, we'll carry this too. But it was a various album. And one thing that you don't get today, and you didn't get, that I actually got, because in 2008, you still buy CDs, is this was an intertwined CD. You know how you were talking about their outros? Oh, their outros are amazing. Outros, because their outros actually blend with their intros. So when you listen to this on CD without skip or without, random, it flows like it's one long song, because one song just teeters into the next one and then it builds up on, So I miss that in music today. It's something that I used to do on my own. By very minimal understanding of music production, but I miss that, and that was one of my favorite albums because of that blend. So great work, and that was a great band. And I'm glad I got to learn about them.
This is a segue now into our next session, which is called Music Saved My Life.
Music saved my life.
I guess we changed the theme song. Let us know if you like that version better.
No, I think yours is better.
Just to bring it back to Morecheeba and how they reminded me of this band, of this artist called Everlast.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to be honest, I don't really listen to him outside of this album. And growing up, a lot of my musical influence came from sitting in my stepdad's Cadillac, and whatever CD was in, that's what I listened to. So that's why I grew up listening to U2, and I grew up listening to a lot of Irish culture, which Everlast comes from. He's American, but he comes from this Irish culture as well. So obviously my stepdad is Irish. He was, he's lived in New York his whole life. He's a New Yorker. Like he talks like a New Yorker, but he was very in touch with these Irish artists, and one of them being Everlast. That was one of the albums he had in there. The name of the album is called Whitey Ford Sings the Blues. So that's what I'm putting you on for next week. Okay.
All right, great. I only know Everlast through one song. It's called What It's Like, or What It's Life, or something like that.
That song is on that album.
Okay, so I'm in for a treat.
Got it. And there's other really good ones in there, but it's a rap heavy song, and so that's where I kind of bridge the gap with Morecheeba and Everlast, because Everlast has Morecheeba has these rap elements, these folk elements, just like Everlast. When you listen to this album, you're gonna see that jump in there, but it's definitely more folk. It's more storytelling. He does it in a rapping way, but it's definitely more storytelling. And I don't know, just even thinking about that album, What It's Like, and another song called Ends, just thinking about the stories and what they meant to me as a kid, because there's a song on there called Ends, and I won't give too much away, but ends is another way to refer to money, right? Make ends meet. That's where the term comes from.
Right.
And it talks about this kid who is doing anything for the ends. Right? So it goes through this kid's story and the things that he's doing just to make money, right? And the hardships he's doing, because we know when you chase money, you're ultimately going to fail. It's you have to chase a dream. You have to chase a passion to truly be happy. When you're just chasing money because you think that's going to solve your issues, I think
it'll work.
In one way, it may, you may have that house, you may get out of the projects, you may get out of a financial situation, but money is not the end game.
Nope. And when you own a house, you got to deal with all the issues that come with home ownership.
Exactly. And and listening to this as a kid, I didn't, I was a kid growing up in Westchester. You know what I mean? One of the richest counties in the world.
The best Chester.
The best Chester. So I didn't. These weren't the problems that I was facing. I had my own problems, but the ability that this guy had to tell this story, that the ability he's still alive, to tell the story and to make you feel to make you feel what this kid or this person in the song is feeling was just amazing. And so I think in general that impacted my music, because from an early age I was listening to these musics that had a lot of substance. And I always said to myself that I always gravitated towards that type of music, even though I love pop, I love, fun, I don't really have to think about much type of music. But when you hear this, man, and the music that accompanies it, it definitely brings me back. And in a way it did save my life, because I'm not living the situations that these people are, but just the ability to know that, hey, there's people out there going through some rough things. I don't have much to complain about. You know what I mean? If this story is real, if this kid is going through these things and he's doing all these things just to make money while I'm sitting here in my stepfather's Cadillac, I don't got much to worry about. And I guess just the being put into perspective to me at such a young age saved my life in a way, because I think I had my head screwed on a little bit, not fully, but a little bit growing up. So yeah, man, that's my recommendation to you.
I can't wait to get into them a little bit more. Like I said, I listened to them because they were on the End of Days soundtrack, and that's the first time I got my taste of them, and I really love that song. It was on my mixed CDs that I blended together, because that mixed with Days of the New for me. I don't know if you know Days of the New.
Days of the New.
Yeah, they were different because in the time where everybody was electric instrumental, they were acoustic.
Okay.
So they were a fun band, but I'm going to put you onto them another time. I just heard this total bop called Monument by Robenstock. Robenstock. You know them?
No.
Okay, good. So there's two bands, but Days of the News next week, because they're going to link in with Everlast a little bit more, because they have a lot of deep lyrics and stories that they tell with their music. Whereas Robenstock has one song that's deep and gets into that, and they're a melodic band with remixes that just take you out of the planet. And because we're locked in our apartments, in our rooms, in our houses, in our cars, if that's the case, getting off world is a great place to be. And I like to give people something a little bit more spiritual and altering. So I definitely want you to listen to Robenstock Monument. And it's weird because his main vocalist is Robin. So it's Robin and Robin. So you get confused, but I'm going to give you the deets on those guys in the next episode. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that was Music Saved My Life. Now we enter a segment. Our third segment, as always, is Behind the Beat. So in this Behind the Beat segment, I have a huge announcement. Before I tell you about this announcement, as always, I take this opportunity to talk about the company that I'm a part of. This company is called Audios, audio with an S. You can find us on @MadeByAudios in IG, any other social media platform, madebyaudios.com. The company is comprised of me, Julian, Henry, and Joel. It's three of us. We are a production company of sorts. We essentially produce music, we do artist development. Just in a layman way, say we make beats, and we work with all types of artists. We collaborate. We make music, and we all have, we've all fell into our specific roles. Joel is sick on the drums. He is a mix engineer. So at the end of the day, when those songs are done, they go to Joel. He polishes them up. He produces as well. Don't get me wrong. He makes some badass tracks. But whenever we make tracks, or whenever I make a track individually, it usually always touches Joel before it goes out to the public. Henry went to school for music. He is our theory buff. He'll play any instrument that you give to him. and he'll play it very well. So he's a prince of sorts. And
Give him the crown.
and I come from more of an artistic background. You know, I was pretty much an artist just exclusively for a while until I decided that, you know what, I want to do my own production. And we came together. And we decided that we wanted to launch a company last year called Audios. And the big announcement is that so recently I just got laid off. I got laid off on May 1st, and you know I think a lot of you out there are maybe experiencing the same situation as well. You know, these times are different. They're hard for a lot of us, and you know, I decided that that wasn't going to be something that would define my year or my day. And I said to myself, this is an opportunity. It's a door that's closing, but it's also an opportunity to seize what's going on. And I decided that I'm not going to work a corporate job. I mean, if it's in my power, ever again. At this point, I'm going to go into Audios full time. I'll be securing the rental of a studio in June, so we'll have a physical location very soon. And you know, this is just a huge step for me. You know, I've always done music and worked a 9-to-5 job, and at this point, I'm saying, fuck the 9-to-5, and I'm going full into what I love. And I hope that message to anybody who's listening to this, I hope it inspires you in some way that, you know, you don't have to work the 9-to-5 if you don't want to, you know, learn a skill set, learn your value, and apply yourself, and don't give up, and network a lot, because networking is key. Yeah. And so, you know, so what does that mean now? I received a new laptop yesterday.
Woo!
Yeah, so I got my MacBook Pro. I'm actually using it right now to do the session with you guys. That's obviously my first tool and my most important tool moving forward. And you know, step by step, I'm gonna use Disc Dungeon as a platform to keep you guys updated on how those things are going. And I'm glad you're here for the ride.
Enjoy the ride.
Okay.
Did you love how I throw all the songs and music into it? I've been doing that from the beginning. I don't know if anybody's ever caught that.
Oh, I mean, you're very transparent. When it comes to that. That was the nicest word I can find. Transparent.
Transparent.
Yeah, man. Guys, that's it for Behind the Beat this week. We have one more segment left, and Joe is going to take this. Joe has a really exciting...
we bring you tricks of the keys.
And for those of you who have been following us for a while, just call it Tatik.
Yes. So this one is going to be a tough one. As half African-American myself, I know that existing all around us is blatant fucking racism, okay? Sure. It's every day of your life. Every time you see a monument that's up anywhere north of the Whistling Dixies of South Carolina, we know that there's some type of racist connotation. There's laws that don't allow certain people of color or ethnicities to advance in society, you know, like stop and frisk and things like that. But there's one thing this is probably going to ruin a lot of shit for folks, but for me, it was an eye opener, and now I hate Mr. Softy. Do you know the ice cream truck jingle? It's actually, yeah.
Okay.
Is actually a racist song called Nigga Love Watermelon, ha ha ha. Yes.
Wait, can you say it again? Because you said it a little quickly.
I sure did, because the white half of me is like, please don't get beat up by the other half.
You said the N-word.
Yep.
Loves watermelon.
Ha ha ha.
Ha ha ha.
Yes.
Do you understand? See, you know what's crazy? I sing that song a lot.
The Ice Cream Man song?
I whistle that song probably once a week. You just ruined my childhood.
Oh, yeah. The song, I'm trying to pull up the lyrics for you. It's a minstrel. It's a racist minstrel song. All the ice cream trucks that are playing this thing are just cruel ways of keeping the minstrel years alive. It's amazing. It's Theodore Johnson III at a code switch went deep into the origin of the Ice Cream Man song. I've got this information from NPR, just so you're aware, and you can look it up from yourself. The lyrics of the song are, "Nigger love a watermelon, ha ha ha. It merits the distinction of a racist title in America," released in March 1919 by Columbia Records, written by actor Harry C. Brown, and played to the familiar depiction of Black people as mindless beasts of burden greedily devouring slices of watermelon. As it quickly began, the music paused and the response issued, "You niggas quit throwing them bones and come down and get your ice cream." Now, if you ever listen to that, I'm not going to go into all the lyrics, but I'm telling you, this is probably one of the most racist songs. And yes, I know there's some people out there, the Candace Owen types, that are trying to debunk this now because NPR put it up and it came up recently on some popular social media sites, but it's 100% true. I challenge you guys to go and listen to this minstrel song so that it's literally written as "Nigger love watermelon." So it won't be hard to find. I'm going to link it into the YouTube box. So make sure you go to YouTube so you can click it and you're going to hear that distinctive.
It's crazy.
And the lyrics match the music that you're hearing. And one of the things he says is, "Yes, ice cream, a color man's ice cream, watermelon." And, it's in that old timey, "Oh, we're going to get down here. It's that vaudeville era, which the minstrel acts were very big during that time. And that's the era of blackface. And that's why we don't like blackface. So I definitely think that I have a new light on the Ice Cream Man. My wife used to say, "Rat-infested truck," because they used to park not too far from her house in Newark. And, the rats would get in the ice cream trucks because of all the dropped ice cream, and they would come and eat it, all that stuff. So she would never get ice cream from the ice cream trucks because of that. And now I have another reason to not eat from the ice cream trucks.
Yeah, that's I suspect that a lot of people who play that song don't even know what that song means.
Yeah.
That's thank you for that.
Yeah. It's an eye opener and one that's an eye closer right after, because you're like, "What? Oh no."
Wow.
Crazy. Yeah.
All right. Well, that was an intense way to end the show.
Yeah. Racist. That's racist.
Guys, we want you to know that that This Dungeon podcast is available on all platforms. It's recently just got accepted on SoundCloud, correct?
Indeed. Yep. And if you are of the giving nature and wish to donate to these jewels of Julian, meaning his beautiful vocals and wondrous voice, and if you like the soothing sound of Joe Dove, I encourage you to donate on our PayPal link on SoundCloud.
Oh yeah, and we're also putting every song that we put each other on, every album that we put each other on, we're making a playlist, and it's called This Dungeon LMPYO, which stands for Let Me Put You On.
Let me put you on. Limpoyo.
So every album we talk about is going to be there. If you guys just want to go to one place to find all the music that we refer to, it's all going to be there for your convenience.
And that's on Spotify, right?
That's on Spotify.
Yeah.
And guys, so remember, we love your comments. Anything you want to tell us, if you want to debunk his research,
nope,
please.
You Candace Owen types, shut the F up. You're trying to glaze racism, and it's not going to happen.
If you want to talk about how beautiful Joe is, please.
I'm glowing here, like literally. Look at this shine.
Just send us some comments, interact with us. We will respond. We will talk back. And again, thank you very much.
And if you're a big Police fan, let us know in the comments.
Just like take that somewhere else though. Like maybe start a forum on like Reddit or something.
Look, it's the new Sting album I got before the lockdown.
He literally has a shrine. That's a Sting shrine, guys.
A little bit. I mean, it's the three pops of Sting, Stuart Copeland, and Andy Summers, the three members of the Police. There's the Sting album. Behind that is another Police album. It's the shirt I'm wearing, Synchronicity. Yay!
Bye, guys. Julian Valencia.
And Joe Dove.
Have a good day.